This one favor for a tenant ended up costing me thousands of dollars. So earlier in 2025, I would say it was probably January or February of last year, so about a year ago now, we had a tenant apply to one of our properties that approached our property manager about renting one of the units. She applied to it, and long story short, she did not qualify. The disqualifying factor was her credit score. Her credit score was, in the 500s or something like that. Or it could have been even lower. It could have been like 400. I'm not sure. But everything else was fine. Background was fine. There was no other insinuating factors that would cause us to not rent to her, besides the fact of her low credit score was outside of our minimums. However, she just inherited a lump sum of money from a family member whom passed away, and she inherited something like $40,000 or $50,000. As part of our screening process, we require 2 months of bank statements to look at your income and your expenses every month to make sure you can afford the house. So we got the bank statements from her, and we did see she did in fact just inherit $40,000 to $50,000 from a loved one who passed on. So we ended up making the exception to allow this woman to go ahead and rent from us if she would pay 6 months of the rent up front. So we needed to get 6 months of the rent up front. It was like $7,000 or $8,000 or something. And I also doubled the security deposit that we typically would require. We usually require 1 month. Made her use 2 months worth of rent as security deposit. Well, long story short, at the end of the 6 months, when she now had a balance due where she needed to start paying the rent, stopped paying rent right at the end of 6 months. We ended up having to evict her and get her out of the property. Had to clean up the house. She kind of trashed the house a little bit, so we had to clean up the property, get it all listed for rent again. And this is why it's so important to screen your tenants. We made one exception in 2025, and we had one eviction. And it was the one exception to our screening minimums and screening requirements that we enforce.